crap, guys, it's E3 2018. I am Ajay Fry here with
Velvet Valhalla.
Talking
about some stuff.
Who's over this way
Over there.
in the video that you guys are watching.
Over there.
Yeah, there we go. We're having one of those Brady Bunch moments. Anyway, so it was day one. We had all the big press events today from, well, not all of them. I guess there's more coming tomorrow, but today was
a handful.
Xbox, was Bethesda. There were some announcements yesterday as well. We're just going to run down our reactions to some of the big announcements. The first one up, Xbox opening strong with the new Halo game, Halo Infinite. Were you a Halo fan, Velvet?
No. As a largely PC gamer, I always kind of never got into the Halos. Like, Halo was the big console shooter, and it was a big console shooter because it had the big round reticle in the middle of the screen.
Right.
Aim things, and I always hated that because I've been a PC shooter forever. I wanted a target. So I never got into Halo because, like, the idea of putting a mushy circle in front of somebody and going, it just never appealed. So you've
got a lot of positive things to say about the upcoming new Halo. So let's move on.
It's Halo, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I played some on the second Xbox 360. My old roommate and I had a couple of those set up side by side. I guess it was the original Xbox at first, and then we got Xbox 360s and played a little bit of Halo on there. But it was funny doing like the split screen thing, but not split screen thing. We had two television sets in the same room.
Yeah.
I'm getting Steam messages. New expansions for Sea of Thieves. We're very excited about both of these, The Cursed Sails and Forsaken Shores. The game is fun. It just needs to be funner, to use a word that's not a word.
You make your own fun in the game, and that's what I like about it the most. I think that it is a fantastic sandbox to play into. I think it has a lot of great mechanics, and you just need to have more things to do in it. And I'm glad we saw announcements for release dates on these two expansion packs that I've known about, and the fact that they're going to start moving into weekly events starting, I think, this week. Weekly events start coming into Sea of Thieves. And I believe the first weekly event is supposed to be one where you have to attack skeleton forts with like thrones in it. It's like skeleton thrones that are going to be around there. And this is all coming off the heels of the Megalodon expansion pack that they just put the drum into the game, as well as being able to fight the Megalodon in this team play environment. But that's probably coming to an end by the time you guys listen to this or watch this, however, you know, you're intaking your media.
Right.
But the first event was amazing for a game that was only a month old, and I feel like they're only going to get better and better. This is one of Xbox's premier titles at this point. Like,
they need to keep servicing it for sure. Yeah,
exactly right. Like the press conference was driving home one big thing for me. It's like they're saying Game Pass. They're trying to put Game Pass, and they're trying to sell Game Pass to make you buy subscriptions. And I think that Sea of Thieves is going to be one of those games that they really want to try to push subscriptions with by continuously releasing content and making that work out. But I love this game. I think it's a game that I'm going to be playing for a very, very long time.
Yeah, it is fun.
And I'm very excited with the direction. I like the direction the trailer showed, even though there wasn't much going on. But I'm very excited, and I'm glad I don't have to wait too long for the next two major content updates, which is awesome.
All right. Let's move on to PUBG. They teased a new snow map. That's really all we got with that one, and the announcement that, you know, more war mode is coming for Xbox. What?
Yeah. Do you want to play a snow map?
You cut out the first time you gave that line.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. That's my joke. That's all I really have to say because, like, yeah, I mean, they didn't really show much. They showed people exploding as they ran through things, which is the most unrealistic version of PUBG possible.
Yeah.
Because, like, if it was realistic, it would just be you running through that city and then getting shot and not seeing anybody.
Yeah.
As opposed to this...
Wondering if it was a hacker.
Exactly. I like the idea that like the battle mode is going to come in there. We're going to give it more deathmatchy version of it. I think that's going to be good for the game overall.
Yeah.
Because that gives you a chance to actually test weapons and play as well, learn how things shoot, which has always been an issue with that, and that's why there's a learning curve on top of it. And I think a lot of other battle royale games are starting to overtake PUBG, not just because they're free, but also because the learning curve of having to understand ballistics of guns. Just being to in the arcade fun.
Right. Well, as you jitter out here on our feed a little bit, we'll move on to Division 2. I played a little bit of the original Division. I thought it would be a lot more like Daisy in a, you know, more claustrophobic setting, but found, you know, battling waves of AI just didn't appeal to me at all in the same way that like PUBG totally took what I loved about Daisy and brought that to the forefront of just, you know, circumstantial battles against real humans out there. Hopefully there'll be more of that in the Division 2. It looks beautiful. It certainly has me intrigued. But if it's more of the same kind of gameplay from the original Division without the added element of like immediate availability of PvP environments, I probably won't be brought in.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, it looks like it is what it is. It looks like the polar opposite biome from what the Division 1 was. So let's go from being snow and let's go into, you know, a fairly tropical kind of environment. Even though I don't think it's tropical.
It's neat.
Or in. Yeah,
it's more like,
you know, it's good to see the engine push that way.
Boreal Forest. You certainly won't be doing any skateboarding in Boreal Forests. You need some pavement for that. And Session is a new skateboard game. I don't even remember the developer behind this one, but when they started showing like a skateboarding game, I thought, oh, cool, new Tony Hawk game. It's about time we got one of those.
I was excited to see a Tony Hawk game.
Yeah, but then like, it isn't. It's just called Session.
Yeah, I mean that's okay. They had an Eminem song. Dropping the rap beats, and it was, you know, it was what it was. Yeah. Next up, I mean, I'm looking at our rundown.
Yeah.
The Battletoads announcement, which got me very excited.
Here's some text.
Yeah, it's like, hey, check out the logo.
Gonna show just text. Why not save your reveal for another time? Like. The buzz, like dropping just text around a title this big, I feel like did it a disservice, because you could have announced this in July on its own with a trailer and everyone would have been like, oh my god, did you hear about Battletoads? But because you're burying it with just a text trailer in the middle of E3, I think that's the wrong way to play a Battletoads game, because people our age love Battletoads.
Absolutely. And like the most recent version of Battletoads we got was in Killer Instinct. There's Battletoads and Killer Instinct.
Yeah.
You got to play, so you got to see next gen Battletoads there,
and they look good.
They don't even tell. They look great.
Yeah.
Now we don't know. Is it a beat 'em up game? Is it 2D or 2.5D?
No, I think it's a. Oh, they said it's a 3-player couch co-op experience. I imagine you can do 3 players online as well. Why would they not?
So it's got to be like a 2D side-scrolling beat 'em up game, classic Battletoads style.
Yep.
So I mean, knock on wood, because I mean, I played a lot of Battletoads. I played a lot of Turtles in Time.
Yeah.
Like I played a lot of that game.
Those are fun experiences. So
very, very excited. I'd love to see more of this game.
It would be nice to have something like that for when I have friends over who are like casual gamers. You know, something you can just like pick up and the controls are super easy and you can just like play through the game when we're not playing Jackbox or Mario Kart. So yeah, something like that would be amazing. Though Battletoads was notoriously a difficult game, so maybe they'll add some sort of like skill variable.
All games back then were notoriously difficult.
It was.
They were next to impossible to do.
It was the 90s.
Like, yeah, that's the way it was.
All right, an announcement. Well, not an announcement, but a big trailer that showed a lot that we were very excited, both of us, to see. Cyberpunk 2077.
This is a huge game. Like, so a couple years ago, there was a Steam sale. On the Steam sale, I bought both The Witcher, and then I bought Metal Gear Solid 5. And The Witcher turned out to be one of the best games I've ever played. And then I played Metal Gear Solid 5, and it turned out to be one of the also best games I've ever played. And this year's E3, we get the announcement for Cyberpunk 2027, which is from the same developers as The Witcher. And it's also, tomorrow, I'm really excited about hearing some more about Kojima's new game, which we saw trailers for last year, which was, you know, the weird baby on the inside womb game.
Death Stranding.
Yes. I'm excited to see way more about that game this year. So follow-ups to 2 from the developers of 2 of my all-time favorite games of all time. I'm very excited. I'm very excited for Cyberpunk 2027, new IP.
Or it's 2077, I think.
2077.
Yeah.
Looks beautiful.
I hope that what it is like a multiplayer, like living world that you can play around in, kind of like what was promised with Ubisoft's recent hacking game. Oh god, I'm blanking on the name of that one. They just
oh, I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember what it is. Holy shit, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the first one was set in Chicago, and then they did a sequel as well.
I think you said hacker game. I keep thinking it's like Cracker or Cyberstalker.
No.
I'm just making up things now. I know, but I know the exact game you're talking about.
Yeah, I did so much press surrounding both of these games. So something akin to that. Watch Dogs, that's it. Yeah, Watch Dogs. Bam, we made it.
You saw my hands. I didn't Google nothing. Came right out of my noggin.
So like with Watch Dogs, I was hoping for a more persistent kind of world, kind of akin to, I guess, Grand Theft Auto 5 or something, where like you go out on the street and find missions or kind of make your own missions. Kind of something like Sea of Thieves, where it's a little bit about making your own adventures within a persistent world that is like a cyberpunk future. So if they can deliver that, I'll be totally satisfied.
I mean, if they just deliver the same sort of open world story they did in The Witcher 3, I'll be very excited about that. And I mean, that's the assumption of what the game is.
Oh, a single player, no multiplayer element?
No multiplayer element. No. I mean, it'd be nice if there was a multiplayer element into it, or at least a co-op element. I think that most story games that are really going to bring me in now must have a co-op element in order to really kind of capture my attention in a way that makes me put a significant amount of time into the game. But I'm very excited about it. Not much is known, but we finally saw something for it. It's been rumored for a very long time. The title's been out for a very long time. Like the name, everyone's known of the property. But now we finally get to see the property. And I mean, now we have to wait till E3 next year before we probably see something substantial on it.
Yeah, maybe some gameplay, but it looks like it's coming along. So
the question for you is, press conference. How did you feel about the Microsoft press conference? What were your overall feelings of the Microsoft press conference?
You know, it's always fun the way that they are hyperbolic. 50 games! And you're like, yeah, okay, 50 games. Yeah. Some of those are DLC, some of those are... But it's still, you know, an impressive rundown of titles. And I think Xbox, or Microsoft with the Xbox, has done a good job of bringing back some of the goodwill that they lost a couple of years ago with the whole, like, failed announcement of the... Xbox One and like all Kinect and all the, you know, demand for connectivity and no more sharing your games. That was just a few years ago, and now by just sticking with, you know, games. And then there was that press conference even from like a year before that where it was like all the different ways you can use your Xbox One to you know, watch television and do all these different things that aren't games. And everyone at E3 was like, so it's nice to see them fully returning to form with just, it's E3, here's the games. I thought Phil Spencer was good, kept it moving. It'll be interesting to see. Well, I guess I won't be there to see it, but I'm assuming that they will be using the actual stage for a lot of demos over the next few days, because they won't actually have a booth on the E3 show floor this year, which is new.
I hope that's what that whole stage is for, because I was expecting during the press conference see a whole bunch of people flood the stage, and then everybody's playing Xboxes on the stage. And they're playing a game together, and they're trying to do that. The big issue that I had at this press conference is it felt like I was invited to dinner, and all they served me was appetizers. So I got a whole bunch of little bite-sized things, and they were all good. I was like, nice. But really what I wanted when I got in there is I wanted to sit down, and I wanted like an entree. You know, like I wanted them to like really show me something that would make me want to like get a console. And that's not what happened. They showed a lot of trailers. So you don't
actually have an Xbox One?
No, I don't have any consoles. I play, and like I was excited for the Xbox conference because cross-play and cross-compatibility. A lot of games on Xbox can be played on PC.
I was a bit surprised at how infrequently that was brought up. I thought it would be a lot more about cross-play. I mean, they mentioned it for quite a few of them, but I felt like it would be even more. So
but I think that cross-play is almost an issue that they're having at this point, because there is such a backlash from console people who are saying, why do I need to buy a console when I can build a PC, get better running performance? So what's the point of the console whenever I can... You know, I have an expandable platform that never gets old. But I wanted to see what it was going to be that would make me want to get a console. And unfortunately, they showed a lot of trailers. They showed 50 games, but it was 50 games, and it was kind of lip service. And I just wanted to see a little bit more. I wanted to see them actually get in there with a tech demo and play the game on stage a little bit. They did that with Forza, but they didn't do that with anything else.
Oh, we didn't even touch on Forza, but that shows you how excited I am about that franchise. I think you're still salty over the fact that they just teased us with Battletoads.
Yes, and you know, I was hoping for a little bit more on Sea of Thieves, but the fact that we got release dates, I think that's actually a big deal. We didn't get much of a trailer for the last Sea of Thieves expansion, so I mean, everything kind of checks out for what happened with Sea of Thieves. But I mean, saying they have 50 games and they're including in those 50 games that PUBG trailer, like, come on. They launched PUBG last year at ETHO.
But you know, there's 50 games you can play on your Xbox One. That's the hyperbole. The hyperbole of E3 is rampant everywhere you go. Let's move on to another presser that was today. We're talking about Bethesda. Quick overall thoughts, Velvet.
So Bethesda did what I wanted the Xbox press conference to do. Like, they did show a good amount of trailers, but what they didn't do, so they did show a good amount of trailers. But they also showed gameplay, playing of the games, a little bit in depth on what the game is about. I think that the Bethesda conference had the best balance between showing a trailer and putting some substantial content in behind trailer.
Yeah,
that's what I really enjoyed about this. I am a longtime Bethesda kind of critic, I would say, because I was saying this. We watched the press conference digitally. Don't mention Morrowind, because Morrowind's a trigger for me. Because I remember playing Morrowind when it was brand new, and the game was impossible to play. And it was the worst. You try to play the game, and it would crash, and it was bad, and it wasn't good. And most people who have played it years after it was actually released. It was modded to all hell, and they managed to bug fix everything. But when that game came out, it was miserable for maybe a year and a half. Like, a year and a half of being like, why did I convince my parents to help me buy this game? Like, it was bad. But looking at what they did this year, I think they had a lot of promise, and we'll talk about those games right now. What did you think overall?
Overall, I mean, it was a pretty good conference. It went on a little bit long. You could have tightened that up, I think, a little bit.
I agree.
But it was cool to see them, going back to the classics, and then at the conclusion teasing some upcoming games, which we'll talk about in just a bit. My first reactions, though, Rage 2. Rage, I was so excited for that game. I've been an id fanboy for my whole life, and when that was announced, I was like, oh, this game looks amazing. Driving around and getting out and having like first person plus driving. I feel like no game has ever really gotten it perfect. Grand Theft Auto is pretty good, but Grand Theft Auto is more of a third person. I want first person.
Still third person.
Yeah. And then the game arrived, and the graphics were so bad. It was just so frustrating. There were so many flaws with the game, so I never really completed it. And then you show me this trailer for Rage 2. You get me so excited about it again. If this one arrives and it's crappy, and fails to deliver on the hype that is provided in the trailers, I'm going to be so heartbroken again, because I'll have fallen for the same thing twice.
The question is, like, what's the difference between old school id and new school id? Like, id Software went through a really dark point. After I think what one? I think it was one of the Dooms that kind of failed. It was like Doom 4 or Doom 5.
It might have been Quake something or other. I think it was
something happened there that went really bad, and then they kind of came back in a big bad way with the newer Doom that just came out not like a year or two ago.
2016 maybe. Yeah.
A lot of goodwill from that, and I'm hoping that they can take that goodwill and then push it forward into this property, because I've seen the trailer just pop up, and it's like everything that I want. Sort of a wild shooter to be like, this type of shooter. Like, this is what I want to be playing. So I'm excited about that. Yeah.
Elder Scrolls Online, they just hyped that game, insisted that they're going to continue to support that. So I don't think either one of us has really anything significant to say about that one.
Not really. I mean, the big surprise happened with what happened at the end of the press conference. With that, because I even said it to you as we were watching. I don't think that they're really going to want to invest in doing a new single player Elder Scrolls style game while they still have the MMO out. But they're talking about a game that's coming not even 2 years, maybe even 3 years, like, in the future. We might get a trailer for the next Elder Scrolls game next E3, as opposed to even seeing gameplay for it.
But they showed us the title card. It's coming, folks.
They showed us the title card for Battletoads too.
Yep, they did. Doom Eternal is the follow-up to the Doom game we were just both praising. All we saw was that little brief trailer. Not a lot of hype surrounding that. I mean, hype that it's coming, but yeah. If you found a nice recipe, just make your recipe again and add a little bit more spice or something. Quake Champions. We were both big Quake 3 Arena players.
Yes, to the point where you tried actually installing old Quakes.
Oh, I didn't have to install it. It's on my game hard drive right now.
Oh, they're installed?
Oh yeah, I've got
Oh my
a
God.
yeah. That's how big a fan of Quake I am. I still have even the
Still
original
have it.
Quake installed on my game drive. I mean, they're so small.
My solid state drives, they need to be very
Right.
cut.
Got to keep them.
That's yeah. I gotta
Just
keep
the
them
current
straight
hits.
with the games. Yeah, gotta play the hits.
Now,
I don't want to have to buy a third one to put in my computer.
uh,
I already have two.
Prey is a game that I have never actually played. Have you played a bit of Prey? And tell us about this new game mode. No.
No, I haven't played any Prey. It's again all these Bethesda games. There's a lot of them that I've dabbled. I've kind of like circled the wagon on a bunch of them. Prey is one of them. And I never pulled the trigger onto it. But you know, space mode. I don't know. It looks interesting. I don't know. Will I pull the trigger on it? Depends if it comes up on Steam sale. Did they sell it to me today? I don't know.
The asymmetrical multiplayer idea where one of you is playing as a mimic, pretending to be various items that are in the game world, like the old school hide and go seek game. I didn't enjoy the game Evolve a few years back, though I never really ended up sticking with it. But that whole idea of asymmetrical, one player has this power, the other players have this, kind of like Spy Party, which we should get on soon. But that's a video for another time.
You brought up Evolve, and rest in peace Evolve, because I'm pretty sure they just shut the servers down on it.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think they just finally pulled the plug on Evolve, because I played a lot of Evolve. Me and Max played a lot of Evolve back in the day whenever it first came out as well. I know Wolfenstein is a single player game that I played quite a bit of.
Yeah.
At least I played a lot of New Order. I didn't play a lot of the second one that just came out, Colossus. But
another new one. I feel like Colossus really just came out, but I guess time goes by.
This is sort of an expansion pack, right? Like back in the day, you used to get the base game, and then there'd be maybe one or two expansion packs that would come out fairly frequently based on the same engine. It's just we live in the weird digital age where they could just rebrand everything as whatever they want it to be. So it's quite different. But 1980s fighting Nazis as BJ's daughters. Come on, I'm in. I'm totally in. You're just checking all of my boxes. I just, shut up. I'm going to just throw my money at my computer screen.
And that
game is mine.
There are so many women out there, too, who are now like, wait a second. There's a game where I can play as, two twins fighting Nazis. Like, for a lot of, my wife doesn't really like first-person shooters, but I think she might enjoy this premise, especially in today's political climate.
Well, and co-op as well. I mean, that's the whole reason why they did the twins thing, is now you get to play, like, you have drop in, drop out co-op with your friends, and I think that's a big factor for me trying to get it to drop $70 or $80 on a first person game, like on a single player game. I want to be able to play co-op with my friends, so that we can go through these levels and have fun doing that kind of stuff. And if you can deliver me that, then I'm more willing to give you my money.
This is why I enjoy like cooperative gaming. It is that shared experience, and I struggle with how to properly form friendships and have social interactions outside of the game space or outside of work. Like if there's no task, I'm just sort of like, now what do we do? We're just two people standing around. So cooperative gaming speaks large to me, and it absolutely, if there's an ability to play the game with other people, I am infinitely more interested in it than just something that I can play by myself, because I don't even bother playing those kinds of games.
And I mean, we're at this point now where everything in the rest of the press conference is all about trying to have cooperative experiences, which I think is also very good. And I think it's a good direction that Bethesda's trying to go into.
And then they, of course, announced their new edition of Skyrim.
Which was the best, because, like, I believe Microsoft tried to do this exact same thing where they... Microsoft did do this exact same thing. We didn't even talk about the Gears of War thing. They did they put a Gears of War logo up, and then a Funko Pop came out, and everyone's rolling their eyes, being like, "Oh, everyone was excited about a Gears of War game, and now you pulled the wool under our eyes. It's Funko Pop." But then they actually released the game after it, because you can't tease something like that hard. You can't troll people that hard. That's how you get people mad. But they did this really hard troll, and they let it sit, which I think was a bold move on Bethesda's part, to let it sit through that many segments to get to the very end. I think, and then pretty much after this point, everything just kind of really picked up. In the press conference, like it was just bam, 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 and it felt like really energetic and good.
Yeah, and then they didn't actually announce any more Skyrim editions, which I appreciated.
Yes.
They've put that on freaking everything. And as
Everything.
Michael Key showed, yeah, now it's on your fridge.
I would have played that.
Fallout 76, full online game, though you can apparently play it solo. The guy up on stage, who cares what his name was, said it's kind of like softcore survival. So there's some circumstance to dying, but there's no like permadeath. You don't lose progress. And one of the big things announced with this game is nuclear attacks, which, Velvet, you were saying were similar to something that you can find in Conan.
Conan, yeah. So I'm a pretty big fan of survival games in general, survival crafting games and building games.
As am I.
Like Ark and, well, Minecraft Ark in Conan Exiles. I'm playing a lot of Conan Exiles.
Okay.
It seems like Fallout 76 is taking a lot of the things that Conan Exiles is trying to implement into their game. They're having a little bit difficulty with it, but they have a system where AI threats attack your base. They have a system where you can build an altar, upgrade it, pray to a god, summon a god down to destroy somebody else's base. And in Fallout 76, AI threats attack your camp, and you can go and you can raid to get nuclear codes to go and drop nukes down on somebody. I've never been the biggest fan of Fallout games, but looking at this, a AAA title that is in the survival genre that you can play solo or you can play with people, drop in, drop out. I mean, that's very, very appealing. I do think that they left a lot of things kind of gray. Like they're saying your base goes with you, these things go with you. And just kind of went, they go with you. Oh, but you're not on a server. There's a mesh of dedicated servers that do all this stuff.
Yeah.
But what happens when two things collide in the same space? Like,
yeah. Well, I guess maybe there's
on this mountain.
Servers would recognize when players have elements saved in certain positions and not link those players together. But what if you and your best friend have built?
Exactly.
It's like, right? Yeah, there's a lot of gray area there.
Yeah, so, and they didn't really explain that all that well.
Yeah.
They just kind of stuck with trying to play the hits, the notes that everybody likes to hear. And I think that they played them well enough that I'm interested in this game.
Yeah.
The fact that they're going into a beta with that is very interesting. I will try to put myself into said beta as somebody who is an avid game tester who likes to, kind of jump into anything really early. Yeah, I think that's all pretty great. I'm excited, and I didn't think I'd be excited about a Fallout game, but they kind of checked.
Like I said before, yeah, it's that cooperative ability that has me intrigued to actually pick up a Fallout game, because up until now, they're just single player experiences that I didn't really care for. Skyrim Blades is going to be an interesting multiplayer experience in that you can play it both on your phone and in virtual reality, and it's free,
and it's cross compatible everywhere. So It seems like a game they want to put on every platform possible, playable every way possible.
Yeah.
Now that's very interesting, and I'm interested to see how far these companies and these press conferences over the next few days push VR. It seems like Bethesda has always been on the forefront of VR, but I think that they're the only ones who've been, kind of very successful with it, because they had all these properties they keep converting into VR,
right?
And people are jumping into that VR space. Nobody seemed to have a lot of success with a brand new VR property that they're bringing forward. There's rumors that the Sony press conference is going to have Spider-Man VR. What's that going to be like? I mean, I don't know. There's a leak out there. Spider-Man VR is supposed to be a thing, but how much is VR going to be pushed through this E3? So far, Microsoft seems to have dropped it altogether.
You know what? They
put the V and the R together. They
didn't even bring out HoloLens, which I feel like they've done that a couple of times over the past few years. So
yeah,
maybe they're just going back to the drawing board on HoloLens, or figuring out the right way to introduce playing that way to core gamers, and maybe rightly staying away from bringing out the HoloLens for now. Announced titles at the conclusion of the Bethesda presser. We already touched on Elder Scrolls 6. All they really did was show a title card for that. And the other one that got a title card was Starfield, this nebulous new game that they're working on in development. Maybe we won't see a release until like 2020.
Which is being described, or has been described to me, as Elder Scrolls in space. So they're trying to make an Elder Scrolls style game, but instead of being in a fantasy world, you are in a universe and you're trying to explore the world. Isn't
Skyrim essentially Fallout in a fantasy world, and Fallout just Skyrim in a post-apocalyptic world? Aren't they all kind of the same core gaming experience typically?
Yes, and but that's the core gaming experience that Bethesda always tries to deliver, right?
Right.
So I mean, I would be interested to see them try to go totally in left field with it,
Yeah.
but I don't. I think that I'm the only person who would like to see that as an experiment. I think that most people who enjoy Bethesda games walk into it with a set of expectations on what a Bethesda game is, and will be very disappointed if the Bethesda game does not check those boxes.
Well, all right. I think we should wrap things up here. We've been talking for about 30 minutes now, and that was just the first day of E3 2018. That was our extended conversation. Yeah, anything you want to conclude with, Velvet Valhalla?
I mean, the only thing that I really want to conclude with is a couple of games that we didn't mention that got a little bit of a push during the press conferences, and that one is Anthem. Anthem is a game I'm very excited about because I am a huge OG Blizzard, or not Blizzard, a huge OG BioWare. Wow, I can't believe there's so much gaming stuff going on in my head. I'm just a huge OG BioWare fan, and when the proper BioWare studio, like BioWare builds games, they're always spectacular. And the problem is that people don't understand there's a difference between BioWare and then like BioWare titled games.
Yeah.
Like when BioWare proper gets in on something, it's special. And I think that Anthem is going to be very special. It looks like the best parts of Monster Hunter mixed with some of the best parts of trying to play something like Warframe, with class and like mixed with like Mech Warrior. There's just so many things about it, and the graphics are beautiful. I cannot wait to get my hands on this game. I'm very excited about it. What are your thoughts on that? Are you?
I'm not a BioWare guy at all. I can't think of a single BioWare title that I've played in the past. I have a friend who's been working on Anthem. I know they're she's very proud of the game. She's a writer on it, and I mean, it looks good. Although it's being distributed by EA, and until EA starts to respect their players more, I don't really have anything positive to say about them.
Well, then on top of that topic, let's talk about Battlefield 5.
Yeah.
Battlefield 5 seems to be EA's response to all the backlash they just got from Battlefront 2. It seems like they're saying that's what their whole press conference is about. We're not even talking about the EA press conference.
Did they have one? Because I didn't pay attention.
EA had a press conference yesterday where they made a lot of announcements. But for the most part, it was a lot of them standing on stage being like, oh, we screwed up.
Yeah.
Well, we screwed up. They were very honest and tongue-in-cheek about, maybe not tongue-in-cheek. They're very honest about the pitfalls that they have put themselves into now that they've been exposed and everyone's complained about it. And Battlefield 5 is going to be a game that is going to have no like season pass DLC expansion into it. It looks like it's going to have a strong story mode with lots of game modes. I do feel like EA is sort of a step behind everybody because they're like, we're going to do Battle Royale. And that seems to be the joke of EA, or not just the joke of EA. The joke of E3 is that every game is now getting Battle Royale. It's like it's the flavor of the month game mode that every single successful shooting style game needs to have in order for it to be successful in this current flavor of the month world that we live in.
I could be more upset about that too, though. I mean, I like the game mode, so
I do.
Oh no, they're giving us more of what we want. Crap.
And I wouldn't be talking about this game if Battlefield wasn't my shooter. Like, Battlefield is my historical shooter. Really? I have so many memories from every single Battlefield game that has come out, except for maybe Battlefield 4. But I played 1942 when I was a kid so much.
When you were a kid. Yeah, we were teenagers when that one was out. Yeah.
I played that. I played Bad Company 2. For the longest time, Bad Company 2 was a game that was #1 on my hours played on Steam.
Wow.
I played 200 hours of Bad Company 2 on the demo map.
Whoa.
On just the single demo map.
Wow.
I love this. And Battlefield 1 was also a very good game, but they have the issues where they release expansion packs, and as soon as you get off the expansion pack train, then how you play with your friends.
Right.
And that's something that they addressed and that they're trying to get past. If they can manage to launch Battlefield 5 and make Battlefield 5 be the game that they say it is and not just the same stuff they keep trying to make money off of, I'm definitely going to be in on Battlefield 5. But the jury is still out in the same way that I really wanted to play Battlefront 2. I really enjoyed the new Battlefront 1, and Battlefront 2 came out, and it was just the most disappointing thing ever.
Yeah.
And I can't give them money. I can't.
Yeah.
So toxic in their practices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so those were our thoughts on the first day of E3. If you want us to do this again tonight, leave a comment down below. Ask us questions that you want us to answer, and we'll include that in tomorrow's conversation. Bye, Velvet.